Good morning, party people. Great grand risings on this Sunday. Um, Thanks for watching the video series, The Answers. At some point, I got one more video we got to put up there for that. Um, Answer some more questions. I was tired last night. I ain't finished till 2 o'clock in the morning, so I was like, I'll do it later. I just didn't have any more energy to go. But as the title says, Griffin Notary Mentorship Program. And that's a question. And some people say, well, why isn't this included in the answers video, in the video series answers? And the reason why is because I have to give a little more context than um, than what those videos are about. Those videos are about just a straight, do you have a mentor program? It's either yes or no. No, I don't. Things of that nature. But this, I wanted to expound on because I actually was going to include it in that video series. And as I was typing out my questions, it sort of dawned on me why people want people to, or want to be a part of a mentorship program so bad. And I never really thought of it until I was just sitting there typing the question, asking myself, and then reflecting on the energy that came from various people when they asked that question. And their responses when I said no, some were a little upset. Nobody visibly like fussed at me, but you could tell that they like, okay, I don't feel like talking to you no more. Bye. After I said that, and I was like, and I didn't think too much of it until I was typing the question out. Do you have a mentorship program? And then I said, why do you keep asking that? Why? And what I've concluded in my own mind, um, is the possible reason is that that person wants to be a part of a mentorship program where the mentor will tell them every single thing to do so that they don't have to do an ounce of researching, they don't have to do an ounce of thinking for themselves. They just want somebody to tell them what to do and then they'll go and replicate it. And in some cases, that's okay. And you can start off like that. But the concern that I have is, will you ever grow from it? I did a video short yesterday, and I put that out before I'm doing this video to sort of hopefully spark people's minds concerning how they're growing their business. And I even take it back a little further, where what I said in that video, which is basically, if you haven't learned how to earn what you have, so that what you haven't learned how to earn it on your own. It was just given to you. Somebody gave you a blueprint and you just followed the blueprint, but you never learned how to earn it. You'll always be afraid. You'll always be concerned. You'll always be fearful that if you lose it, if somebody challenges you on it, you'll never be able to get it back because you really don't know how to do it yourself. And that whole concept and thought process came from a men's conference that I went to years ago. I'm not even gonna say the preacher's name, or any of that state or any of that. I'm just saying I went to a men's conference, and it was a very good conference. And what he said was very interesting. He said there are how you start your church is going to determine how far it goes and where it goes. And he said if you start your church on emotionalism preaching and emotionalism, the way the service goes and all of that, and not on the solid foundation of the word, you're going to have problems later on because he said what's been happening at that time, and this is, oh man, maybe almost 20 years ago, that he said at that time, within 10 years of a lot of people starting the church and they started on this emotional high, they realize they can't keep that emotionalism up, and then they have to start teaching solid foundations. The problem is they spent 10 years not teaching solid foundations. And now to shift over to that, they're going to lose people. They're going to lose members in their church. And a lot of preachers, he said, was telling him they're scared because they understand what the concepts of the word is, but they just don't want to do it. They don't want to teach it. They know they can't teach it because the board and the deacons and the little ushers and the junior ushers and all of that and the Sunday school sunshine choir, they ain't having it. They're like, no, we like the way it is because it's high on emotions. So in other words, he never really learned how to successfully build and create a good foundation for that ministry, and therefore he's sort of stuck with it. And the growth internally, spiritually, is not there for the people, but it's a lot of outside emotionalism. The same thing with mentorship. If you want somebody to just fully give you everything you need in order to do any business, to the point that you don't have to do anything, you're never going to really succeed outside of that because you're stuck on doing it their way. Like you have the guy Papa John's. We know about his political issues and his racial issues and all of that. But if you research his story, he started off, Pizza Hut. He started off with Pizza Hut, and his alleged racial stuff and all of that. I meant to say alleged. My bad. And alleged political. He actually started with Pizza Hut. He learned how they do things and saw that he can do it better, or felt that he could do it better, and then he created Papa John's out the back of, I think, a tavern or a bar or something, or a store that his family had. One of his relatives might have been his dad. But he grew from that. He learned and then he grew. He lost everything, lost it somehow, because of the alleged stuff. But that's what he did. The thing is, if you're trying to find somebody to mentor you, mentors get knee deep in your butt. They get knee deep in you to get you to do better. The reason why I don't have an active mentorship program is because, in all honesty, I haven't come across a whole lot of people that are truly willing to accept me getting on them. There are a few people who I do talk to here and there, and I can be blunt with them, and they don't act like, oh, how dare you? They don't do any of that. There's a couple of fellas I talk to, there's a couple of ladies I talk to, and they call me their mentor. Now, nobody's paying me or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just being me. They're asking me questions, and they want my honest opinion, and they allow me to share with them. They do business to business communications. They give me the full details of what the heck is going on, why they're asking what they're asking, what their concept is, and they're transparent. And then I can share with them my viewpoint, and I respect the fact that, well, I don't know, I don't like that. I hear what you're saying, Griff, but I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm like, cool, I'm fine with that. So we both had an adult conversation where you shared yours, I shared mine, and they was willing to hear what I had to say, ask clarification, ask questions of clarification so that I could expound and all of that to make sure they understood what I was saying. They allowed me to do the same for them. And then it was like at the end of the conversation, it was like, all right, cool. Hey, I'll catch you on the next time. All right, cool. And a lot of the conversations are not scheduled. It's just whenever I pop in the head, they call me. Sometimes I thinking, let me give that person a call, check on them, see how they doing. They'll give me a text update. Hey, things are coming along great. ... Mentorship is serious business. And if you really go out and research mentorship on your own, if you just take the time out and do it, you'll realize you cannot be mentored by somebody who's a novice. You cannot truly be mentored by anybody who's a novice. If they, I mean, just because they've had an excitable 6 months or first year does not mean that they still aren't a novice and that they still don't have some growth. I think the problem right now with the notary industry on YouTube, note how I'm saying this, with the notary industry on YouTube, is that there are too many novices out here claiming to be mentors and experts and people that can help you. But there are people out there who have more time in this industry, in this business than me, that can even probably, that I know definitively can teach me. The only senior people that you have in this business out here are, that have been in the business longer than me, that are doing stuff on YouTube, are primarily people who are just who are notary trainers, not just notary trainers, but they are notary trainers. Their main line of business now is notary training, and they're trying to get people to come in. But you don't have anybody who's not being a notary trainer, not running a notary training business, and just sharing based on their experience, who's been in the business, from my understanding, let's say 10, 15, 20 years, and there's no connection to buy my program, buy my platinum, diamond crusted, program, hook up with me for $300 a month, get in my private Facebook group. You don't have that. So all we have is, from what I'm seeing, and please in the comment section correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm seeing is a bunch of new people over here who are trying to say, hey, you need to listen to me, you need to follow me, you need to let me help you. And then a whole bunch of people over here who are like, I've been in the business and I got this notary training program, and you need to buy my training program if you want to be successful, like these newbies over here. And then the newbies over here are funneling people to the older people, meaning older in seniority for his years in the business over here. But in between, all you have right here, I don't see a whole lot of people. There's a few, but even those, they're still, they're talking, they're not talking a lot of realness. And it's still about them trying to get people to trying to use this, I've been a notary for a little bit, so give me some money and let me help you out. But what we need is those elder statesmen and stateswomen who can come in and share and mentor from afar people. Because here's the thing, people don't have $300 a month to be paying folk for access for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And then you get on the phone and then you find out it's not one-on-one, it's 1-on-50. They're doing a Zoom call and you're thinking it's going to be you, and then you hop in there. And see, the sad part is that some people are going through things, and with that, they may want to share with that mentor a personal story, and you're thinking you're going to have some time to talk with them to get some information or some advice, or just to maybe vent a little bit. And then you go to hop on the Zoom call, and next thing you know, there's 7 or 8 other people in there, and you're not going to share your personal story and what's been going on with you amongst these other strangers. Yeah, y'all may have all taken the same training program, but you're not going to share your personal story, your issue that you might be having with your husband or wife, who's telling you to quit the business, and you're just now starting to get traction. And the thing is, and for some of these people, some of these mentors don't want to hear your story. They don't want to hear what the heck you got to say. They don't care about what you have to say. So as far as me doing mentorship, my mentorship right now is you come to my channel, look at the videos, learn what I'm talking about in the videos, hear what I'm saying in the videos. And then if there's anything that is not clear, that is not 100% that you need a little more clarity on, or maybe even a lot more clarity on, give me a call, shoot me an email, include your phone number in the email so that I can contact you back and even state, okay, here's where I'm stuck at. And to be honest, people who have done that have been very, very successful. There's a notary that I know. We met up, happened to see each other, and she told me she's doing great. She did over 90 signings this month. 90 signings equal between 9 and 10 grand. I'm like, congratulations, that is excellent. Another notary told me that they're hitting consistently 5 or 6 grand. In a while back, somebody told me they was hitting 10 grand. So it's a couple of people who have listened, and that person from a while back was in a different state. But there are people across, and I haven't done any interviews with them. I mean, because that's really not my thing. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand that people are making money. And I'm not doing it as a bragging point, like, hey, Griff did this. My hanging with Griff is gonna make you rich. No, hanging with Griff doesn't make you rich. Executing the truth of what you hear is what's going to make you rich, is what's going to put wealth in your pocket. Now, if that truth is coming from me, if it's coming from these other notary trainers, if it's coming from these other mentors, then cool. But execute it. Your execution of it is what's key. And if you're unwilling to execute it, then your chances of success is practically zero. So I would encourage you to stop running around from notary to notary. Every person you see on Facebook, every person you see talking about, can you be my mentor? And put in the work yourself. You put in some of the work yourself, you will be amazed at how quick and fast you can grow. Not so you can then tell everybody, hey, I can mentor you. It's not for that purpose. It's for you to grow your business. Because I believe too many people are starting to grow their business, and then the first thing they do is they get distracted with trying to pull money and extract money from other people so that they don't have to put as much time and effort into actually doing the notary business for its loan closings. That's my personal feeling. That's the pattern that I see. And at the end of it, there's a bunch of dead bodies, because then these notary mentors and people like that, when they get frustrated with you, what do? They drop you. Now, I haven't dropped any, well, maybe one person that was coming all crazy at me. But other than that, other people, and really them doing that was them dropping me. So I've had people drop me, not want to deal with me because of my or who I am. And I get that. But you got to come to the table with something. You got to have done something. Lastly, when I was in IT, and I think I told this story before, there was a guy named Tim, there was a guy named Mike, and there was another guy named John. They was IT programmers. They was computer programmers, and I was given a task to do something that I had never done before. I had no idea how to do it. I understood the concept, but I wasn't fully sure. So, and then there was a fourth guy named Brandon that popped in there after a time. Well, in the beginning, I would just go in there and say, hey, Tim, I don't know how to do this, man. And he would look at me like, I don't know how to do it either. Somebody pulled me off to the side and said, hey, man, look, if you need Mike, Tim, or John to help you out, you got to put in some work yourself. The way to get them to help you is you do it to the best of your ability. Get to a point to where you are completely stumped and you can't figure it out. And then you go in there and talk to them. And then you show them, hey, here's what I've done. This is where I'm stuck at. And this is what I think I'm supposed to do, but I'm not sure. Can you just give me an answer to, and just, show me what I'm supposed to do, help me out here. Either it's, if they're just, hey, do this, and then I'll take it and run with it, or give me some detail, because they weren't very talkative. So really, I just had to get a piece of an answer from them and then still go and do more research afterwards. So when I started going and doing it myself, putting in the time, the effort, the hours of study, the hours of research, back then, looking at whatever videos was out there, reading more so a lot of articles, I started putting the stuff together. And then what I did was I went to them and said, hey man, look, this is what I did. I'm coming along pretty good. Not coming in there asking them a question. And I was really milking them, and you probably gonna use the same tactic on me. But what I was doing was showing them that I've had some success. And I said, I'm still got some other ways to go, but thanks for the info that you did give me. It did help me out. And I may come back if I get stuck on something, but I think I might be okay. And they were like, all right, man, cool, congratulations. And then I go on about my business. Now, they probably talked about me like a dog, maybe, maybe not, but they was cool guys, so I doubt that. They probably said, man, that guy Griffin's a trip. And then I would go, and then when I did get stuck on something, I would come and talk to them, and they would help me out with no issue. And then I got to the point and say, hey, look, and our offices went that far, so it wasn't no need to just email. And they were so busy, they didn't check email a lot. And I would just pop in and say, hey, if any, I got this thing, but maybe later on when you're free, can I get with you? Because I think I got it solved, but I just want to do a sanity check. Okay, but I was coming with something, not the thing of I haven't done anything, I don't know. I wasn't, and I heard from them, but I'm trying to use you to verify whether or not somebody over here who I paid money to give me an answer, did they really say it? I went to them and was like, hey man, look, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. And they was like, all right, cool. Yeah, you're on the right path. Yeah. Okay, got it. And the energy that I came with wasn't like, I'm testing you. I'm checking to see what you know. I honestly didn't know. And I said, look, this is where I'm at, and this is what I've accomplished. And they was glad to help. And then if we saw each other out, sometimes they would say, hey man, how you come along with that? And I would be hoping they would ask me. And oh man, good. I ran into a couple of problems, but I remembered the things that you taught me, and I figured it out. So they mentored me. Now, I said all that, them three. Then there was a guy named Brandon that came along, and they called him Spider-Man because he always in black gothic stuff and had spider tattoos all over his body. That guy, he loved the project that I was working on, and he got in there and started working the project with me. So everything that I learned from those three, I was able to go and get with him, and they sort of pawned me off on the Brandon, and Brandon would come in and was like, hey Griff, can we get together, man? I want to check out what you got going on. And next thing I know, me and Brandon was working together on that project. And there was times where I would do something and have it working beautifully, and then he would go in there and reprogram it and say, hey man, I had a little tweak to it, you don't mind? Nah man, I don't mind. So what I'm saying is, when you come with the right energy, when you put in the time and effort, people will be glad to help you. But if you're going in there accusatory, always like, well, I'm just trying to see if what you said, I'm just trying to check to see, if you valid, that ain't the right energy to come to anybody who you're trying to get mentorship from. And maybe that's why some of these people are bouncing y'all, because you're coming at them like that. I don't know. But what I do know is most human beings, whether they're trying to be a mentor or not, they're not down for that. So my mentorship program is simply start off by looking at the videos. Thoroughly look at the videos. And then if you don't understand something that's in there, in the comment section, text me, email me, call me, and we'll work it out. And we'll go from there. And I think it'll work that way because it's been working that way with several other people, and they're doing great. They're making the money. They're getting the orders. All of that. So I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I'm here to help. I'm not here to cradle you. Coddle you. I'm not here to just completely hold your hand through the whole process, because all of us are grown and we can do this. You've done other things without being handheld, and you figured it out. You got married without being handheld. You had babies and all of that. You put your kids in college and all of that. You done switched jobs and moved across country and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's that difficult for you to get in here and do this notary business to the point where you need somebody to show you every aspect of everything with this notary business, that you can't figure anything out for yourself. But you figured everything else out in your life, and now you get here and it's like, I don't know what to do. Don't let people scare you into thinking that this business is so hard that you got to have 5 mentors, 16 training courses under your belt before you can be successful. That is not the case, because those people who are talking that way, that wasn't the case for them. All right, peace.